Yo, so today I'm gonna be making a atmospheric beat from scratch for someone like Nat.
Pineapple!
Alright, so to start off, we're actually gonna be using FL keys because I got the Analog Labs demo, so it only works for 20 minutes, and then I have to render it out so I can actually save the sound. So I figured I'd come up with the pattern in FL keys and then find an Analog Lab sound, paste it over. So we're just going to be going for something kind of like fast, dark, ambient. So go ahead, figure out like a chord progression, add some little like accent notes, but try to keep it simple. And then I'm going to make sure I'm on half step instead of third. And then I think I want to do two chord changes here at the end. So like the steady bass note for like the first half of it. So overall, this is like super simple and repetitive. And then we can go up and add some top notes, but I think I'm gonna wait until we figure out the Analog Lab sound, just because I don't want to overdo it and I want to use like a super like wide feeling pad. All right, so now we can run the demo and go ahead and find a sound that we like. I haven't really used Analog Labs too much. I used it for like one melody that I made before this, and it was pretty cool, but I'm gonna go ahead and click on like the little pad thing and then just click through these and listen and see what sounds good. All right, so I found this one called Crystal Bells and I do not like it, but I think I like the classic synth pad, so I'm gonna go ahead and change my search to classic synth pad. Yeah, so now all of these are gonna be classic synth pads and we can look through these. But now we're gonna go ahead, pitch this down because it was a little high, and then give it a listen. Alright, so I didn't really like that hollow one after all. It was just a little bit too reverby and like all the notes clash together. So I'm gonna use this one called Feedback Caverns now, and it sounds like this. So I like that because like everything blends together, but it's not like bad. Yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and render this out. And then there's a little click at the beginning. You can see if I zoom in right there. So that doesn't sound too good. So we're going to go ahead, turn on generic bleeding, and then just go like that. Alright, so now that just sounds a little bit better, so you can go ahead and record that again, just so it's easier and we don't have to deal with that little like tiny open space. Because when you arrange it, sometimes that gets really annoying and then stuff is like slightly off time. So now if we look, it looks normal. And there is a little bit of a pause there, but it sounds okay because it like fades in. Alright, so next I want to add some kind of synth pluck to kind of like accentuate the chords because they're kind of lost with the pad, and also to fill up that little blank space, that tiny little blank space, because it doesn't transition well. So hopefully that'll like kind of smooth everything out. And I also ended up pitching this up too, so now we're in E F minor. Alright, so we're going to go back into Analog Labs and then just type in pluck and search for like a plucked keys. That's probably what we want. And then go through, find one that we like, copy the chords. Alright, so this one called EP and strings sounds really cool. So I think if we just layered like the basic chords, like none of like the little chops or anything. So just like copy that note, throw the F sharp in there, and then pitch this up too. And then we also have to go in here and put the pattern back so we can listen to that and this at the same time. Yes, that's sounding cool, but too high. And then this one is not a F chord. You have to put it up 5, and then this one goes down 5. So that's what we did in the other melody. Alright, so then we're going to put that above the other recording in the channel rack just to keep it organized. Reset the volume just so it's loud enough for here, and then we can put it back down later. But then go ahead, quick renders audio clip again. Alright, so we have this rendered out, and like I said earlier, we put the volume back down, and I also routed it to track 6. So right now I'm going to go throw a low cut on it, and then I'm going to put a filter on it because it's still a little bit high pitched, even though I did put it down that octave. And then since I routed the other one to the mixer at mixer 5, I'm just going to throw some light reverb on it to hopefully kind of minimize that click at the beginning. Alright, yeah, so I think that's a good base for the melody. It's very like spacious. So I think I want to go into Omnisphere and grab either the growler bass or the big fatty one that I used in the last video. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go with the big fatty and then raise the attack. Like I explained in the last video, this one is like clicky at the beginning. So normally it's like there. And there's just that click in the beginning, so I just move it up to about 0.5-ish. Just makes it a little bit smoother. Then we can go and copy the bass notes and then add some like slides. Alright, so this is what we're going to use for the bass pattern. I think it's pretty cool. The little glides sound really nice, but I didn't really explain this in the Spanish guitar video on Friday, but you really do have to render this out, because at least for me, sometimes the sound just completely changes. So now the bass sounds like this. That's just not what I want. It sounded a lot more smooth before. So I just go click the preset. And then I have to readjust the attack. And then quickly I'll go back to pattern 1 and then render it. Yeah, and I think maybe I want like an acoustic bell. So maybe grab the balcony bell from Omnisphere. Alright, so I like this pattern a lot, but I think I want to make it another synth. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and go synth poly, I think. Maybe extend those out. But keep the last one kind of like plucky. And then route this to mixer 7. So I don't think I want to render this one out. Throw gross beat on it. Maybe do like a 1 beat gate. Yeah, so I like the way that turned out too. Go back into Omnisphere, grab another kind of pluck maybe. I'm not really sure like what else the melody needs, but I would think that I want to do another synth pluck and do some like quick rolls. That was cool last time. Oh, you know what might be cool? Alright, I think this might work. I'm gonna grab the softest piano. This will be like the last layer for the chord section. I'm gonna go ahead, copy over the bass pattern. I'm just gonna mute everything else for now. Delete all this. Alright, so this might end up being kind of wacky, but I'm gonna go ahead and strum this. Mess with the velocities, just randomize it. Go ahead, go Alt-X, and just bring them down. Route this to the mixer. Put it at like number 1. Throw ambience on it. Go with like the Gator preset. And then throw finisher micro on it. Just turn it down. Then go here. Go like that. Put an imager on it. Then we're gonna go ahead and render this out so we can like see the chords there. Reverse it and then flip the order. That actually turned out really good. I'm kind of surprised because I just went with it. Now we're going to go into Serum and we're going to grab a pluck. And I think I'm just going to go with the rewind pluck. It always works. It's like just such a good like basic starting pluck. Put it there. I think I want to go for G and then G sharp, alternating where the clap would be. So like that. Alright, and then that last one should go back down to F. Alright, so that last one's gonna actually go down to C, this one went down to F, and then maybe do some rolls here. So want to end on these two. Alright, so that sounds cool, and this is going to be kind of our high-end noise, because it's an ambient melody, so you don't want too much high-end. So yeah, this is actually coming out really good, and then I think I'm going to go back into Serum once more and grab a secondary lead besides the Omnisphere one that we have the gate on. I don't really know how it'll sound in the context of this melody. Alright, so we're going to use the final battle lead. I think I used this in the emotional video, but we're going to go F. Just go something like that. Have this cut off. Alright, so that's a cool little pattern. And now I'm going to go ahead and mix the melody. I think this turned out oddly good, and I have an idea for what I want to do with the arrangement. Okay, so I just finished the mixing, and overall, very easy because I already added a bunch of effects already. I already showed what I did on that. I just moved the separation knob up, same with this piano. They are both like really wide. Already did what I did on the pluck. Already showed what I did on the first like ambient lead, I guess. I just cut the lows, kind of sweeped it because it's like kind of like mid lows. Then on the piano, I put pancake. It's on the bigger preset on 2 bars. Then on the pluck, I just put a delay and it's on mono, and I turned it down about halfway and then boosted the highs. Then on the like actual like main lead, I went ahead and did this EQ to kind of boost it a little bit. And then I added this one that'll get put on an automation clip. And I don't know why that's frozen, but it'll sweep down here, and this will be for like the intro. And then ambience on the gator preset halfway down. Then on the bass, I have pretty fast distort on one of the presets. I think it's either fuzz or heat or warmth, one of those. I'm not really sure. And then this, and you notice that the mix knob is all the way down, because again, kind of cool idea for the arrangement, but it'll involve like that as an automation clip. But yeah, now we can split by channel and arrange it, and I have some really cool ideas that I want to try to incorporate. Yeah, so I have all this, and then we're gonna hit C and then right click down, just because sometimes when you render stuff out, there's a bit of a tail, and that can really make the arrangement horrible, because that little tail, if you copy everything over, there'll be a tiny little pause and it'll make a giant click, and it's just not yummy. Yeah, so overall, this is what the arrangement's going to be. It's very simple. I realized that I tend to group things in 3, so like 3 4-bar loops in a row, and then a pause. That generally creates enough variation to where it doesn't get boring, but it also has it playing for long enough that it's not like it pops in for a second. So now we can get into all the fun arrangement things. So first, I'm going to start with the bass. I'm going to create an automation clip. Then I'm just going to bring it by the bass just to keep everything organized. And then I think I want to have it go here, and then it's going to sweep up. Yeah, and I'm gonna do the pause thing that I did in the last video as well. That worked so good. Having these like cool intros always makes the final beat so much cooler. So maybe take out all like the actual like main parts of the melody and just have the piano, the gated lead, and the main lead just soloed there. Yeah, so now I'm going to go through on the things that I wanted to put automation clips on, like this. So create automation clip. This is so it's a little bit more muted. I'm going to turn that on for the intro and then have it sweep off for this last little bit. So it's like this. So then that last one will be accentuated. It'll make the drum drop just a little bit cooler. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for like the individual instruments automation clips. And then of course with the pause, gotta do the reverb sweep. That works so well. So I'm gonna create an automation clip. I don't think I want it to like come in at the beginning. I think I literally just want this sweep. And then I think I have an idea to make this a little bit more interesting. It might be way over the top, but I'm gonna go shaper box, grab the filter preset that I like to use, this one, the sidechain one, go like this, and then leave the last two normal, I think is what I want to do. Okay, then we're gonna go roast beat, do a 1-beat gate. I think the filter's a little bit too fast, so I'm gonna go ahead and probably move that to 2 bars instead of 1. So maybe go like that for that little pause. And then I just want the 1-beat gate barely audible, so it's just kind of pulsing for that part. Turn on the shaper box for that part as well. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna I just got to the point where it's kind of almost over the top. So I'm just gonna leave it where it is and try not to overcomplicate it even more. So I'm gonna go ahead, just render out the stems. And then I'm gonna listen to each of the stems just to make sure that none of the automation clips are affecting the stems because there are a lot of them and that could make very big changes. Yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and render this out, save it, and then get started on the drums. Alright, so that's gonna be pretty much it for the video. The drums came out a lot better the second time, but yeah. Probably gonna add like some kind of like halftime hi-hat section for the intro. That's pretty much all I'll do after this. But yeah, here's the final beat. Have a splendid rest of the day.